Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing something a little different. It is another unboxing video, but I am recording audio live. Usually I just do it through the voice memo app, which is kind of not great, but we're going to try it this way. So what we've got here are three Tomica brand diecast cars that my buddy bought from Japan for me. He had went there a couple months ago, and I had asked him to try and find me a Subaru Legacy wagon because, as you probably know, I have one and I love it dearly. And he surprised me with a couple of others, so I was super psyched, and I wanted to share them with you all because I think it'll be interesting to take a look. We've seen me open a lot of Hot Wheels and Matchboxes, and some like even smaller cars, but these are a little bit different. My understanding is that these are Tomica premiums. They're sort of like a lower trim model, I guess, or made for a younger demographic, but this Tomica Limited Vintage Neo is more for collectors, and I believe it was a little bit more expensive. Something else interesting is that all three of these have different sizes. So this Skyline Turbo Super Silhouette is a 1/67th scale, which is great, which is kind of unusual. The 180SX is a 1/62nd scale, and the Legacy Wagon is a 1/64th scale. You can see right there. So kind of strange that they have all different like scales. You'd think they'd almost want to keep them the same, but I don't know. All right, so let's start with opening up. I'm saving the Legacy for last. So as you all probably know, I do like keeping my cars in their packages. These are just too cool. I need to open them up and see what they're like. I've never played with one of these. I see them at car shows every once in a while, and they're selling for like 20 or 25 bucks, and I just never spring for them. I hope my buddy didn't pay that much for them in Japan, but let's check it out. So this is a Skyline, and this is not your typical, what everyone thinks is a Skyline. This predates the R32 generation. This is actually an R31, and it's in total race guise right now. This is, I think this was built for Group 5 racing, I believe. Whoa, all right. So let's take a look here. Okay, comes with a little instruction, something or other. I cannot read Japanese, so not sure what that is. I'm assuming it says don't eat this or something. But I like the box. Be able to repackage it up, so that'll be cool. Man, here you go. So it's all wrapped up in plastic, and I like what I see so far. So my understanding is that some of these have different functions, and there's certain ones where the suspension works, the doors open. From a little research online, this does not have any of that, but my God, is it detailed well. So you can see Tomica Skyline Turbo Super Silhouette, and check out those wheels. Those are SSR wheels, and they got the details absolutely right. Those little fins on them are for cooling your brakes off. Man, check out the headlights, even the interior. I forgot for a second. Yeah, we're talking about Japan, so it's right-hand drive. It's got that racing bucket in there in orange. I mean, without taking this thing apart, the interior looks pretty well detailed. And the car itself is just incredible. Look at the metallic gold script for the RS Turbo on the side. I am super impressed. This is incredible. Yeah, crazy. And another cool detail, they got the exhaust on it. So this was actually powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. That's right, no RB series motors in this race car. This has got, like I said, a 2-liter 4-cylinder. I think it cranked out about 560 horsepower. And apparently it was known for shooting pretty big flames out of the side from, like I said, I did a little research on these cars. And yeah, I guess the race car shot some pretty nasty fireballs out of here. So this is pretty cool. And I don't know if you can see, it's kind of hard, but there's a roll cage in there too. Oh yeah, there you go. There's the crossbar. Man, this is insanely well detailed. I'm very impressed. Wow. Very cool car. No rubber tires or anything, no textured plastic wheels or anything like that, but man, I love that they got the SSR wheels on there, and they look spot on. And they call these cars silhouette cars. My understanding is they're supposed to look pretty factory from the side profile. You know, don't count this massive wing, but the roof line is similar to factory, and so its silhouette, it you know, retains that stock look, and that's sort of what the race car required. And the whole idea was like, you see these, you know, street cars racing on the track. Oh, maybe I'll go buy one if it's a successful race car. It's the you know, win on Sunday, sell on Monday mentality. Rad. All right, next up we've got another Tomica Premium. This is a Nissan S13, a Salady, and I'll sort of get into what that means in a second here. But this one, different scale from the Skyline. So the Skyline was a 167th. This is a 162nd. Strange. And look at the box. This has opening doors, and apparently it's supposed to have functional suspension, but let's check that out, see if that's the case. And again, my buddy went to Japan and flew these all the way back for me, so I am incredibly appreciative of him. He knows I do this sort of stuff, and he's really supportive, so can't thank him enough. And you'll see that these have numbers. I think these are all part of a series. So that Skyline was 01. This one's 39. And I guess this Tomica Premium series is sort of newer. It replaced a different one in 2015, I guess. It's got the same sort of piece of paper. Don't know what that says. I'm guessing, you know, some sort of advertisement, or don't eat it or something like that. I don't know. But packaged up the same way. Let's check it out. This is in a great blue color. Like I said, it's a 180SX. So for you Americans watching, you'll be like, oh, is that a 240SX? Well, no. The 180SX was a higher performance version of the 240SX. We never got. Same chassis. It's an S13. But it was powered by an SR20 motor. Made about 220 horsepower, I believe, from the factory. But yeah, let's check this out. So gold wheels, they look dope. It's got the 180SX wing and taillights. Muffler too, great little detail. And again, I thought I read that it has factory sort of suspension, and they do move. It's not like I'm bending the axles or anything like that, so that's a cool little detail. It doesn't seem drastically smaller than the Skyline, or drastically bigger or anything like that than the Skyline, being, you know, slightly different scale. But let's check out the interior. Oh yeah, doors definitely open on that. Check that out. Pretty cool. It's got some weird, like, sloppy paintwork maybe on the inside. Check out the door jamb, and then the dashboard is painted blue. And I don't think it's supposed to be painted blue. I think it's just a factory flaw. But man, this is very cool. And again, very strange that some of these have options and some of them don't. I don't really get the idea behind that. You'd think that they'd want to be uniform. But anyways, like I said, this is called a Salady. So what it is the Silvia, I believe, was a notchback in Japan. So it wasn't this fastback or this hatchback. And it came with these fixed headlights. The 180SX was fastback or the hatchback, and it had pop-up headlights like you're used to seeing from a 240. So what the Salady is a Silvia front end on a 180SX body. So it's got the fixed headlights with the hatchback. And like doing these Silvia front end swaps are pretty common here in the US, but yeah, this is a pretty rad model. I like the opening doors. And really great details. I'm again continued to be impressed by this line of toys. All right, y'all. So this was my biggest ask from my friend when he went to Japan. I really wanted to see if he could find me a Tomica or any other sort of Japanese toy branded Subaru Legacy wagon. I have a 3rd generation wagon. It's a 2003, and I love it. Those, you know, might be hard to come by, and he had a limited time, and but he was great, and he ended up finding me a 1st generation Legacy. So I think this is a 1991 or 92. And so this, like I said, 1st generation Subaru Legacy. These are great looking cars. You don't see them too much on the road. They did sell them in the US. But if you see here, it's branded as a Subaru Legacy Touring Wagon, Brighton 220. So let's break that down. So Subaru Legacy, normal name. They've been selling them for a while. Touring, I believe they always called wagons touring, so it's a touring wagon. Brighton is a trim package, and that sort of changed. My understanding is the Brighton version of these wagons were somewhat decked out, but in different generations, the Brighton trim level was like a low trim model. I believe the 220 stood for the engine, so this was a 2.2 liter flat 4, single overhead cam motor. So, and that's what they sold them here in the US with eventually. So without further ado, let's crack this open and see. Golly, okay, there we go. So if you notice, the box looks different, right? This is a, I guess I'll have to read it again. Tomica Limited Vintage Neo package. My understanding is that this is built more for collectors rather than, you know, to play around with or something. Man, these are like hard to get open too. There we go. Okay, and right off the bat, huge difference here. Wow. Okay, so these are packaged up with these plastic, you know, sort of limiters, I guess. I don't know what you call them. Form-fitted for the car. Wow. That is incredible. Look at that color. I mean, the paint on this is insane. Holy cow. Okay, another big difference. Rubber tires. Wow. Now, I also understand that these don't have any sort of extra features, like no opening doors and things like that, but geez. But the taillights are correct colors. I'm just like shocked by the quality of this paint. Check out that interior too. Buckets. Again, I'm not used to the right-hand drive thing. Wow. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm like shocked that the paint is this pretty on this thing. And this is very similar to the color of my wagon, when it was new at least. I have a Regatta Red 03 Legacy wagon. This is just gorgeous. And I've got an LED light shining down here. It is just popping. This is like probably the best diecast paint I've ever seen. Now, I haven't really taken apart too many of the high-end Hot Wheels. I usually just buy main lines or some of the premiums that really strike my interest, but I am just in love with this thing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think the biggest downside to these is I think they're expensive. I don't know what he paid for these, but again, I think they're more expensive than a Hot Wheel, which makes sense because these are higher quality, or appear to be. And the only other thing I'm not a huge fan of is that you can't really see the cars in the package. And you know, if I could see a little slice of what this looked like in the light, I would be more apt to spend the money on it just because of how nice that color is. But, you know, all the boxes are sort of the same. You just can't see through them. But this is a 1/64 scale car. And again, I don't think it looks... I don't think... the 1/62nd versus 1/67th versus 1/64th. I mean, we're talking about small differences here. I mean, but anyways, something else. All of them had a painted exhaust or something like a muffler that was painted, which is a great detail. But yeah, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but there's a legit Subaru badge with stars in there. Like you can see the Subaru stars, and on the back, I held this closer to my face, so it says Subaru here. It's got the emblem. It also says, oops, I believe it says Brighton 220 there. It's so small. And then it says Legacy across the handle. And then it also says ABS. Yeah, wow. I'm just, this is one of the coolest diecast cars I've come across. Insane. And even like the fog lights are just, they're clear plastic. It's got the egg crate grille. The seats are two-tone. Gray inserts with a dark gray bolster. I mean, I think that steering wheel is even what these cars came with. And it's got a factory, it's got the trunk cover. So it's like a handle you pull and you can cover all your stuff. This thing is dope. Very impressive. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate you checking this out. This might be I don't know how good the audio quality is going to turn out, but you know, let me know in the comments how you feel. And I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.